Paul Guenther is jumping on board here for the Radiothon. What's up, Coach?
How you doing, guys?
We're good. We're fired up. We heard some good stories earlier. Furl told me that he wouldn't tell me what kind of new car he got because I saw Ruggs got a Corvette, but Furl told me he got a new car and he just said it was loud and like you were one of the only guys who had seen it. Was he telling the truth there? You have the snitch on Furl's new car?
Oh, no, he's been sending me pictures of the car. He says, hey, we're going to drive this into the stadium on game days. You can come to my house and pick me up. We'll get fired up for the games in this car.
Yeah, he said it was loud. So what does that mean, the music or the exhaust?
It's the exhaust. It's got this major engine in it. I'm not a big car guy, but I looked at the engine. I'm like, God almighty, look at this thing. So he's fired up about it. I'm fired up to get in it with him.
How like as you've gone along in the game and you know, veteran around the sport, around the NFL, are young guys kind of the same, or are they different now?
You know, it's a different game. I mean, this will be my 19th year in the league. You know, some guys coming out are a lot more ready with their craft, whether it be a pass rusher or a corner or a receiver, quarterback. There's a lot of specialized coaches out there that help these guys out in the off season. So, you know, I think as time is going on here, these guys come in to the NFL a lot more ready to play at this level they are than say 20 years ago.
Well, I'm sure you guys are all excited to get back on the field and work and play and, you know, see how everybody's progressed. But how exciting are you? Like a caged animal ready to get out on the field?
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is I haven't seen our draft picks. I haven't seen our free agent guys that we've signed in the offseason. So I'm anxious to get them out in the field and see what kind of tools we have, where I can put these chess pieces together for our team. And hopefully, you know, everything can get done through this pandemic and we can get playing football here.
Defensive coordinator Paul Guenther from the Raiders here on the Max Crosby Radiothon, going on all day here. Really appreciate everybody pitching in and helping out with this. So, Coach, you talked about, you know, that, you know, not being able to see those guys. How much can you put in? Like, how much of your systems can you put in with these guys over Zoom and the way that you've been doing it?
You know, you try to teach them the insides and outs of all the coverages and the fronts and the hand placements and the footwork. But I tell these guys, like, hey, send me your workout videos. Make sure we're in shape when all this thing ends and we get back out on the football field, because that's going to be the most important thing. Is, you know, teams are going to have, you know, maybe 10, 15 guys start off the year on a PUP list where they're not in shape and ready to play. So that was the most important thing for me. And then obviously introducing our scheme and our techniques and all that stuff. But I always tell them, I said, listen, you can watch Tiger Woods swing a golf club for 2 months on a computer screen, but you got to get out there and do it.
So if you've got guys sending you workout videos, is anybody like overproducing their video? Are they like throwing music and quick cuts?
Oh, you know how these guys are. These guys with their phones and all their music, they can make just about anything nowadays. But they've been real diligent about sending us the videos of where they're at. Whether we got a guy in Chicago running up hills, a guy in this workout facility doing footwork drills. You know, you see all kinds of different stuff. It's like going back when you were a kid. Like you go out, you run hills, you run streets, you run up and down a field, and that's about all these guys can do. Because, you know, a lot of these guys don't. You know, some of these guys don't have gyms to go to work out that are open to do any kind of weightlifting. So that's been the most challenging thing as we've been through this thing so far.
You've got a lot of young DBs, and I know there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of excitement about that. But as a defensive coordinator, having so many young guys out on the edges, is that like tough to sleep at night, or is that exciting?
Well, it's exciting because, you know, we're building this team. You know, we've got a lot of young players on defense. You know, and we're just trying to develop these guys. And that was the downside about not having the off season, because the spring is where you're really developing the skills, the knowledge of the game and all that stuff, and not having hands on those guys in the spring makes it difficult for every team in the league. But as you know, as far as we are, as young as we are, those things we have to just kind of keep, you know, go out on the grass, grab somebody, a receiver, whoever it is that you can cover, or a guy you can go up against, and do the best you can to simulate what you're going to be seeing here shortly.
We talk a lot about, you know, those guys in the secondary, a lot about the talent that you have up front on the line. The linebackers, though, really changed this offseason, brought in some veterans. You know, Kwiatkowski for sure, Littleton. You got guys that have been around the league, know what they're doing. They've got ability. Not a lot of people talking about those guys, but how important are they to your defense?
Very important. You got it's like having your quarterback, your defense, your middle linebacker, Nick Kwiatkowski and Littleton. Those two guys are coming in, and you know they're new into the system as well. And to have to teach those guys, and we spent a little extra time with those guys on the Zoom meetings, just trying to go through different scenarios, situations, third down, lead downs, 1 minute, red zone, short yards, whatever it may be, to get them to understand that these are the calls you're going to be hearing once this thing gets rolling.
So that is the voice of Paul Guenther, defensive coordinator for the Raiders here on the Athletes Doing Good Radiothon, hosted by Max Crosby. We mentioned Max, certainly a revelation for the team last year, a guy who put up the big sack numbers, did a lot of good things for you on the field, but also off the field has just been so important to the team. He's doing this charity work, everything that he's done. How surprising, I guess, has it been that he has just taken on this role, not only on the field but off?
Well, he's really grown. I mean, we saw him as a young man out of Eastern Michigan. I watched him on tape, and I sent down our assistant D-line coach, Travis Smith. I said, hey, get a flight to Ypsilanti and get your eyes on this kid and see what he looks like and see if he can develop into, a 275-pound defensive end. And he came back and said, oh, this guy's like a newborn colt. He got there. He can bend. He can do all the stuff. He's a tough guy. He's smart. And, Max really came in, hit the ground running. He's a high-effort guy. He's a really good locker room guy, so we're happy to have him.
Are you a fan of his rapping, though?
Yeah, I am, actually. I kind of like it, to be honest with you.
It's good.
Pretty good at it. He's pretty good at it.
I enjoy it very much. I like it. I like it a lot. How difficult is it for a guy that has that kind of season that he had last year to follow that up in his second year?
No, you get better. Just to understand, like your first year, it's like you don't know what every day looks like the next day of a season or a training camp schedule or an off-season schedule. Once you've been through it for a year, you kind of understand, hey, this is how it works. It's like the first year in college when you're a freshman. You don't know where the dorms are, and maybe some of the classrooms. You learn all this stuff, and then your second year, you got it down. I think Max is going to only get better as we go through it. He's been working his tail off in training. He's one of the guys that sends me the videos all the time, and we're looking for big things from him. I think he's going to have a big year if we play.
You got Jonathan Abram back too after there's so much hype about him in training camp last year. We got to see what he could do, what he can bring to the defense. Now you hope to have him for a full season. What does he bring to this defense?
Jonathan, we only had him for 30 minutes last year. That's what people don't realize. He played half of a football game for us, and he's a tone setter as a safety. He's a good blitzer, can cover. He makes the middle of the defense for us a scary place, and we're happy to have him. So hopefully we can keep him up and running for the whole season this year because he's a difference maker for us.
He was telling us about catching some 200-pound fish this offseason, which is to me impressive. But as a coach, you're like, man, what are you fighting fish out there? We need you for the season.
Yeah, these guys have to have something to do when they're not working out. So he's out there in Mississippi fishing, and he's a country kid, likes to fish, and he works hard. He works out a lot, and in some of the soft time here, there's nothing much to do. You can't go out to a restaurant in some places, and he likes to go out on the lake and fish. So I mean, heck, he's staying out of trouble there. He's keeping his mind on his business, and I'm ready to have him come back and start playing.
Coach, we appreciate you being part of this whole deal with the Radiothon, the Athletes Doing Good Radiothon. Thank you so much.
Hey, one thing I want to do, I know Max is doing this thing for the Children's Hospital. I'd like to make a shout-out to any business in Las Vegas. I'm going to donate $1,000 a stack from Max to the hospital if any business out there wants to match my offer. But that's what I want to put out there for Max and his charity here tonight.
Wow. Awesome. We appreciate that so much. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
There you go. Paul Guenther calling out businesses around Las Vegas. He's going to donate $1,000 to the cause. It's athletesdoinggood.org.